Hi, what's up guys? This is Metro. If you guys don't know me, I'm a top 500 player on Overwatch 2. I play DPS and I've played Overwatch 1 for 6 years. And I'm mostly known for my aim on mostly hit scan heroes, but also just aim in general. I have spent ages of my time, and I mean ages, way too much time, trying to perfect my aim, and today I wanted to go over every possible thing you can do to get better aim in Overwatch 2. This is gonna be a pretty detailed video, so sit back, relax, and let's go. Aiming in Overwatch is not what you think it is. The game is unlike any other shooter out there when it comes to just hitting your shots. It has been super fun to watch new people come in and try Overwatch 2 for the first time. And I realized after watching that a lot of what I take for granted is not really well known to a lot of you guys. This goes for everyone, like new players and players that have played for a while. So let's get into it. Before anything else, let's figure out what type of aim style you have. When you move your mouse, do you tend to do a lot of the movement with your arm or with your wrist/fingers? So with your arm, you are an arm aimer. Makes sense, right? And generally, you want to start out with a low sense. Compared to the average wrist aimer, you will tend to move your mouse over longer distances. On the other hand, if you mostly aim with your wrist like I do, you only have a limited range of movement, and you're probably not moving your mouse as much, and you probably want a higher sense also. None of the two aiming methods are better or worse, and in the end you should really go for what you like and what feels natural to you. I aim with my wrist, and I've been doing so basically my entire life. I had a period of time where I was convinced that if I switched to arm aiming I would just suddenly improve. You know, I saw Counter-Strike players and they went full arm aim, and so I tried to learn how to do it and force myself to do it, but that's just not how it works. There's pros that use high sense, there's pros that use low sense, there's weird sideways arm movement, some even put a towel over their hands. Here's some starting ideas if you have no clue on what to set up as your sense, but again, keep in mind every person is different. Using anyone's sense, maybe your favorite streamer or pro player, does not mean that that sense is good for you. These are just some rough estimates to get you started on your journey to finding your own perfect for you sense. Pick a sense and stick to it for at least 1 week to get used to it, and then if you don't like it you can always change it later. But again, don't change it too much. Start off with something and try to get used to it first, especially if you're new to shooters or if you're new to Overwatch. After that, if you feel like you're under flicking, so you're ending up before the target a lot, like you can see here, or you feel like you can never catch up to a target, you should higher your sense. Same goes for the other way. If you feel like you're overcorrecting a lot and it's hard for you to stay on target and you're really shaky, then you maybe want to lower your sense a bit. As long as you observe your own behavior and your own aim in this way, after updating your sense a few times, you should have something you're personally pretty comfortable with. You can always adjust later again, but no sense in the world will get you good aim in Overwatch if you don't know about the basics of aiming in the game. So let's get into some details. An easy way to get into practicing aim without having any pressure on you is booting up a custom game mode. All you have to do is create a custom game, click on the import code, put in the code you want to use, and click on start the game. Here's a few scenarios I use to warm up. These range from very relaxed sideways movement to falling targets in the skybox to very fast advanced movement bots. Aiming trainers like Kovacs or Aim Labs can help you, but the reason I recommend keeping your practice mostly in-game and not using a lot of aim trainers is because Overwatch heroes all have very different movement speeds, movement patterns, and different hitboxes, right? And more importantly, the people use those hitboxes and movements against you in real games. A real person will never behave like a red circle or a square or whatever you like shooting at when you do aim practice. A Genji, for example, has such a wide range of movement options that you will never get used to by just practicing against an AI. When you first start out, try paying attention to how the enemy can move. Jumping, for example, is a very predictable movement. It's always the same, and taking a shot at an enemy while they're in a jump will make landing your shots way easier. Try to memorize what movement abilities the enemy has so you can be ready for a fast adjustment. Genji double jump, Widow's grapple shot, Ashe's coach gun. Point is, almost every character in Overwatch has something that requires you to aim differently than versus another. Torp has a very big but compact hitbox. Diva's crit spot is in the middle of her model. Wrecking Ball, you mostly want to focus on the body, since the head hitbox is so small in comparison. Those are just a few examples, and all of those you will only really learn to aim against when you play against a character for a long time. All those small and big details will have an impact on how you aim. Practice makes perfect, and the best practice you can get is against real humans. If you want to learn Widow, but you're too scared to play ranked, jump into quick play, have fun. Don't go into the game and try to copy what you saw a pro do. Take the shots you know you can hit. Consistency is key. It doesn't matter if you hit a sick flick shot and you put it on one of your TikTok highlights, when 90% of the shots you take are usually misses. A player that hits an insane flick but misses every other point blank shot is way worse than a player that misses hard shots but hits every single easy one. But the main reason most people that come to Overwatch from other shooters are struggling so much is not really because of aiming or moving your mouse. It is because of the movement in Overwatch and how it affects the aiming. Movement in Overwatch 2 is such an essential part of aiming in this game. If you stand still to aim at a target, you are probably already dead by the time you fired your second shot or your first shot, right? But that is not the only reason you want to include movement into your gameplay. It can also drastically help you improve your aim or making your aim easier. You can compensate for your enemy's movement by mirroring their movements with your own. When an enemy moves left, you can also move left. This will make it easier to keep your crosshair on them or at least near them, simplifying your job you have to do with your mouse. Keep in mind that you don't always want to copy their movement one-to-one, since it will also make your own movement very predictable and hence their ability to hit you will also increase. Knowing when and where to mirror the enemy movement is a key skill to learn in Overwatch, and the only thing that will teach you is time. I know it sucks, but you gotta practice. On the opposite, for heroes that require one precise shot like Widowmaker or a Sojourn when they have a fully charged up railgun, standing still for a second to carefully place a shot can help you out immensely. But always remember that any time you spend not moving, you yourself also become a very easy target to hit. So you gotta make sure that if you spend the second to stand still, are you safe right now? Or do you think you can die? That's all things you have to think about, and all those things you don't really have time to think about in Overwatch, right? Because the game is so fast paced. So you really wanna try to practice and try to see what works and what doesn't for you. I have seen lots of players in ranks like Plat or Diamond that have the aim of a Grandmaster player, and I'm not even kidding here. There's literally players in Diamond that have better aim than Grandmaster players. And then they come up to me and go, I aim so well, why am I still stuck in Plat? And then usually I go over their replays and I see great aim, but they die within a second because their movement is just not up to par. The main thing that separates a low-level player from a high-level player is not the aim, it's the movement, and the movement affects the aim. It doesn't matter if you have 100% accuracy if you die every time because you stand still or you're out of position, right? Think about it this way. Who wins? A player with 60% accuracy that hits 50 bullets a minute? Or a player that has 30% accuracy and hits like 150 bullets a minute, right? Obviously, accuracy alone is not what makes you deal damage. Being able to consistently hit your target while staying alive wins you games. When you're under pressure and you're being shot by a lot of people, it's okay to not have the best aim, to AD and crouch spam to try to stay alive, even though it may lower your accuracy. That's why I always say, when people come into chat and ask me, hey, what's a good accuracy on Soldier? What's a good accuracy on Sojourn? It's really hard to say because every game is different. What you should really worry about is, did you do your job correctly there? Hey, if you ran back and you spent some time actually repositioning, you might still be alive now and then you can start hitting shots again. Just like it's okay to stand completely still and carefully take your time to take a shot when you're not in danger at the moment, right? When the enemy doesn't know you're flanking from the side, if you take a second to aim, that's fine, that's fine. You're not at any risk, you don't need to kill them immediately if they don't know you're there. Be mindful of how your own movement can affect your aim and compensate accordingly. Knowing when to move and how to move is one of the hardest things to learn in Overwatch. Positioning. It's a key aspect on how to make your aim way better. At Metro, I wanted to learn how to click the heads, that's what I came here for. Well, here's the deal. Your mechanical aim may already be really good and you may not even realize. Without good positioning, you can be the best aimer in the world and you will still do absolutely nothing. Imagine you're always playing with your tank. You're always in the comfort of their protection. What do you see in front of you? Probably the enemy tank. You shoot him, you hit him, he has a big hitbox so you can't even miss and nothing happens. And then you healer dies and the fight falls apart. What happened? Probably the enemy DPS taking a good angle to get an easy shot. Positioning is so important. If you're in the open, you will probably spend most of your time trying to stay alive or you will die over and over. Most of the time, you want to make sure you have cover right next to you. Even if you feel like nobody is pressuring you right now, Overwatch is so fast-paced, in a second there may be like 3 people shooting you. Taking your time to find an off angle away from the safety of your tanks without being spotted will net you so many easy kills. Walk up to an unsuspecting target, take your time to aim, and the enemy healer won't even have time to react. This is a key concept in Overwatch. An enemy that is unaware of you will most of the time not move unpredictably. But if they spot you early and they are aware of your presence, they will do their best to throw your aim off by spamming AD, running in and out of cover, etc, etc. Abuse high ground. It's the best thing in the game. High ground gives you natural cover. All you have to do is walk back and forth half a meter and the enemies won't even be able to see you. Finally, let's go over some settings that can really help you hit your shots and make it easier to play the game overall. The higher your frames, the smoother your game is gonna run. Now, this is obviously gonna be depending on how powerful your PC is or if you're playing on console. In general, for a PC, you want your dynamic rendering off. What this option does is it changes your resolution on the fly, which is gonna throw off your gameplay. For render scale, I recommend 100% in Overwatch 2. 75% is also an option. It increases the size of the enemy's outlines a tiny bit and making it a bit easier to spot, but it also makes the game a bit more pixelized. For frames, you want to set them to above the refresh rate of your monitor. If you have a 144 Hz screen, you go above 144 frames. If you're running 240, go above 240, etc, etc. There is no reason to max out the frames all the way to 600 if your PC can't keep the frame rate constant. A constant 200 frames is better than peaking 300 frames and then dropping down to 190 every other second. If you have an NVIDIA graphics card, make sure to enable NVIDIA Reflex Plus Boost for 2000 cards and above and enable it without boost for 1000 cards. This is going to reduce your input lag in general. In advanced graphics settings, if you don't care about graphics as much, set all options to low other than the texture quality and make sure to put the shadows on low and not off. Shadows can help you see enemies before they come around the corner. In gameplay, enable high precision input for maximum accuracy. In accessibility, set the camera shake to reduced and the HUD shake to off. The less the screen shakes, the easier it is to hit your shots consistently. This option alone is a really big advantage. And that is about it. I didn't want to make this too long, but I hope I got some essentials out. In summary, practice, be mindful, and review of what you're doing after you play the games. Don't try to copy pros' aim styles and go learn at your own pace. Take the shots you know you can hit and spend some time finding the right sense at the start, and your aim will improve drastically over time. If you have any questions, post them here in the comments and I'll try to answer every single one of them. If you're looking for high-level gameplay or more guides, hit the sub button and check out the other videos on the channel. There's some really cool stuff we've done in the last few weeks, and we'll continue uploading every single week. Also, I'm thinking about creating a mousepad and like keyboard tutorial or mouse tutorial for the best peripherals to use. So let me know if you would be interested in that, or if you would be interested in more in-depth aim guides on specific heroes. Yeah, I'm way too addicted to my mice and my mousepad, so that would be something that would be really cool to talk about, I think, in the future. That's it for this video. Until next time, have a great day, and thanks for watching. See you guys. Bye-bye.